exams. I don't have that, much time on my plate. And he said, you know what, this is what we're going to do. How is your timetable like? We looked at my timetable together. And at the end of the day, it was just like, okay, you don't have class until, let's say, 10 a.m. You don't have class until 10 a.m. So what do you do between the moment you wake up? What time do you wake up? What do you do between the moment you wake up until that 10 a.m.? You just sit in the hostel, you prepare breakfast, and then you go to class. So instead of that, what do you do instead? You wake up as early as 6 a.m., you leave tidy up, do whatever you want to do. By 8 a.m., ensure you leave the hostel. Ensure you leave the hostel by 8 a.m. because by 8 a.m. the library will be open. If I say, okay, I'm going to stay in the room and read, I'm not going to achieve that goal, right? 8 a.m. I leave the library. I leave the room, go to the library, and I read from 8 till around 9:30. That's like 1 hour 30 minutes. So imagine doing that consistently every day. And after class, the same thing goes. My 1 hour of my 1 hour after class. For instance, I finish class by 4 p.m. Let's say by 5 to 6 p.m. or 6 to 7 p.m. I spend an hour daily, every day. So I don't have to wait till exam period before I read. So setting goals actually help you prioritize. It helps you say, oh, instead of playing, instead of chatting with people, which I'm not saying we shouldn't do, right? Instead of doing all those things that takes up your time and makes you look as if you don't have enough time on your plate. Rather, it helps you prioritize, okay, these are the things I have to do, so that you can have time to focus on the things that are important and also keep the less important things out of your plate. Then for personal life, it encourages self-improvement. I didn't know how to read. If I share my story, it's a very funny story. I'm still going to share another part of my story with us, right? I used to be that child that, in fact, like I'm the second child in my home. I'm the second born, right? And right from primary school, nursery school, primary school, I don't like reading. Like I play a lot. I play a lot. And out of 22 let's say 24 in the class, I'm bringing a position of 22nd back home. 22 out of 24 in the classroom. So, I mean, my mom got so worrisome and she had to say, girl, you need to start reading. So it wasn't like reading was something that I loved doing, but it was an habit that I started encouraging myself, focusing on my personal development, reading books, storybooks. From storybooks, before you know it, I started reading fictional books. From there, before you know it, I started reading books that that motivates me. And that was how I started improving myself, improving my reading skills gradually. So setting goals is essential because it encourages your self-improvement. Before you know it, the things that you do not know how to do, you begin to do it gradually. Then it boosts confidence. As imagine you're being able to achieve one thing, that little thing that you're able to achieve, it helps boost your confidence that you be able that you be able to progress in achieving those big things that you really want to do. We'll talk about it. Then it also helps in helping you manage your time. We talked about that before. Then for future career, setting goal is essential because it guides your career choices. It guides your career choices. It helps you in acquiring the necessary skills that are relevant to where you're going. It helps you, oh, this is where I am now. This is where I'm going. So what are the skill gaps? What are the things I need to learn? What are the things I need to do to get me to where I am going? So it also allows you track your progress. Every year I do something called I do a yearly audit on myself, not skill audit now, a yearly audit on myself. The things that I planned on doing the year before, was I able to achieve it? What are the challenges? What are the blockers? What are the things that I notice about myself? What are the things that I need to work on? What are the things that actually stopped me in being the person that I want to be? So those are the things that I take note of. Then I begin to write again. Okay, Anu, so what are you going to do better this year so that we don't repeat the same mistake over and over again? So overall, setting goals ensure your progress. It helps you to be accountable. And whenever I talk about accountability, right, accountability is not just to the people, to your mentors or to your friends. It's also to yourself. You need to, first of all, be accountable to yourself at first, accountable to the things that you say you want to do. before you can now say, oh, I want to be accountable to every other person. So it keeps you accountable and it helps you turn your dream into achievable, achievable reality. So let me just share my story just a little bit. I've shared so many, but this is just a little bit. So I finished secondary school at the age of 15 plus before 16. And then during the time, the only thing I'd known about then in the community I live was, oh, go to school. When you get to school, after school, you write jam. But my intention was never to write jam after school. Like I didn't even have it in mind. My intention was probably to go to a nursing school because I did science, was probably to go to a nursing school or something like that. Right. So I didn't really like have any, let's say, plan. So, but by the time I got out of school, I didn't write any jam. I just went home, and what I saw was just that, oh, people were looking for jobs. My sisters, they were baking and they were looking for jobs to earn extra, extra income. And I said something, you let me also look for job rather than sitting at home. Then I looked for a job. I learned a skill, phlebotomy skill. So after learning phlebotomy, because I was thinking of going into the medical line, right? After learning a phlebotomy skill in a medical laboratory, I decided to, why not just take up this as a course? So I went to the Lagos State College of Health Technology and I studied phlebotomy technician. So after studying this course, while I was also studying, I was earning an income. I was making money because I already learned the skill before going to school, right? So while I was, taking this course, I was just like, I know you're not going to be here forever. You don't want to have an home forever. So why not? I was still in school. That was in that was around 2012, 2013. I was still in school and I was just like, okay. I mean, that was where my mindset changed towards the jam thing and everything. I was just like, okay, you know what? So what do you want to do next after your school? I'm going to graduate in 2014, right? But I don't want to wait till 2014 to start running about. So I know, what do you want to do? This is 2012, you have 2013 and 2014. So what exactly, where are you going next? What exactly, these are the valid questions I ask myself. Like I ask myself these questions. What do you want to do? So I said, okay, so instead of, waiting, why not just take up jam? So after I finish, I'm not sitting anywhere. So I have something called plan A or plan B, right? I'm not sitting anywhere. I'm just going straight into the university to study probably medical lab science or something. So after that, the following year, I think it was 2013, I took a jam form. I started preparing. Remember, I was still in the other school. Then I started preparing for the next phase I was going into, because I know that I have to like keep moving. So after that, before I had finished, because I had not yet finished, so before I had finished my OND, I'd already gained admission, but I didn't get my course like the regular Nigeria that we know. I got zoology, and I took the courage to study zoology, thinking I would go for parasitology, thinking I would major in parasitology as I studied zoology. But luckily for me, while I was in school during that 4 years, I was using my phlebotomy skills to earn for myself. So while I was in school, I was a working student. So I would go to class, then by weekends I go and do my job, and I earn my income as a phlebotomist in Lagos, as a phlebotomist in Lagos, right? So after that, I took up. Now I was in year 2, year 3. By the time I got to before year 3, I was already thinking. I promised myself that I wasn't going to take my CV to meet anybody looking for a job, because that was the norms as at that time. That was the norms that I found around the people that I live with. Call this uncle, he's working here, send your CV to him. And it felt so worrisome to me. And it's not like I can't reach out to anybody, but then I just wanted, I don't want to go through the stress. So I said, and what are you going to do? Year 3. Before year 3, year 2, then one of my, probably my roommates or somebody I'd met, said, oh, there's a ready set work training going on in, that Lagos State government trains young school, how would I put, young undergraduates on these skills and every other thing. From year 3, you start the training and everything. I got that information in year 2, because Hanu knows that I don't want to carry my CV around. Hanu knows that I need I need to be strategic about where I'm going. So I said, okay, no problem. So while I was in year 2, before I got to year 3, I started looking out for the registration link to apply for that particular skill. I started looking. So by the time we got to year 3, when I saw the link, I applied. I shared to some of my friends. I applied, and we started the training together. It's called Ready Set Work for Lagos undergraduates, right? So I don't think they do that now again, right? So that was how I started my career, and I was like, I know I studied biology. Please, can the person mute? Distracted.
kan mutum yake gani mashi wannan
Can we mute this person?
baya rayuwa kyawai rayuwar kai da ba
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I was already in year 3. I was already in year 3, and I took up that training, training on entrepreneurship and career, something related to career. And that was when I started knowing about digital marketing. While in school, I didn't have any idea of what digital marketing is or anything. It was from that training I started understanding, digital marketing. You can go into digital marketing, you can do this. I never knew that I had a writing skill until I started taking up that training in school. So I took that training online for year 3, then physical for year 4. Now, remember I said I was a working student, but I know that when I finish from this school, I don't want to go back to my phlebotomy major. I want something better and that pays a higher income. So in year 4, I was working. I was working. I was writing my I was doing my project and also taking up this training. So this training, we take it every weekend, and my work falls every weekend as well. So this was what I did. Again, I said, you know what? Instead of working, I work Saturdays or Sundays. So I switched to working Sundays, and Saturdays was for my training, strictly for my training. So I took those for 12 weeks. I took that training for 12 good weeks. And after that, we did some career fair with some organizations, and that was how I started my journey into digital marketing. I didn't have to send my CV to anyone because I told myself I wasn't going to do that. And that was how I took up digital marketing skills. I got a writing role after university, and I worked as a digital media officer. So this was because of the fact that I had known what I wanted, where I was going, and I put myself in opportunities. I was able to see opportunities that speaks to things that I want to do, and I was strategic about it. Oh, and what do you want to do in the next 2 years? What are you doing next year? How do we get here? What are the things that you need? What are the resources that you need? So we'll get into that. So after I got into digital marketing, my digital marketing role, 2 years was the goal for me. Like I tell myself, within 2 years, I'm leaving this place or something. Like I just need to either move or get a promotion or something. 2 years is like too far because I got a promotion 2 times, right? So 2 years was the goal working in that role. And after 2 years, I got tired and I left. And I took up a training again. I got this time around. If you're, I left. It's not because I didn't know what. It's not because I didn't really have a picture of where I was going. No. I didn't really have like a full-fledged picture, but I just know what I want. And when I left, I sat down and I began to say, I know what exactly do you want. I wrote those things out and I said, let's look out for things. And you know what? Opportunities came around my way. I took a training, full scholarship, software testing, and that was how I got into testing career. 3 years later, after digital marketing, after working for 2 years in digital marketing, the 3rd year, I got a role as a software test analyst, and that was how it all began for me. So this story might look so interesting, from phlebotomy software test analyst. It wasn't like it was easy. It was just me knowing what I want and also measuring, okay, from this place, every year I sincerely do it. And how I know I'm supposed to move into the next phase is just me saying, okay, this is it. okay, so this is what, like, it's just me analyzing myself and, saying, okay, I know we need to step up, we need to do this. I do that through um writing letters. I write letters to myself every year. I know this is what you've done, this is what you're able to achieve, these are the plans next year forward, and like that. So let's move. So what is exactly this goal that we've been talking about? What is a goal? So a goal is something you want to achieve, and you need to take steps to make it happen. Without steps, I swear you cannot achieve anything. If you're going to sit down in a particular place for 1 year, you're going to be like that for that year, and nothing will happen. But when you start making steps, a step can be that, oh, I want to get scholarship, and you start making research about schools that offer scholarship. Then you start speaking to people. It can be that tiny thing that you feel that it doesn't make sense. There are steps. There are steps that makes that thing happen. How did I get my software testing this thing? I just went for a program, networking, and I told someone, oh, I just left my job, blah blah blah, and I got talking like that. And when the opportunity shows up, I was ready to take it up. So that was it. So let's quickly look at there are two types of goal. We have the short-term goal and we have the long-term goal, right? So a short-term goal can be that, oh, I want to read a long-term a 1 year goal can be that I want to read 12 books in a year. And breaking it down into short-term can be I want to read 1 book in a month. So breaking it further into minute goals can be that the book that I'm reading in a month can have, let's say, 100 pages. So I want to take up, it can have 100 pages, and let's say it has like 12 chapters or 10 chapters. If you divide 100, divide it by 5, and begin to read those pages, let's say 5 pages per day, you're going to read your 1 book, you're going to finish your book in a month. So then it can be, another short-term goal can be, I want to learn a high-income skill within 3 months. So we'll talk about setting the SMART goals, right? I want to learn a high income skill within 3 months. Then another one can be, I want to save money to buy a new laptop before Q4 2025. So how much do you earn? How do you get your money? How much do you intend to save yearly? I remember then during my NYSC period, I wanted to learn graphic design. And what I told myself, I said, oh, I want to learn graphic design, but then I don't have a laptop. No, okay, I had a laptop, but I need a better laptop because that laptop was malfunctioning. And I said, I need to buy a laptop. So I started saving towards it. Then I sold, I was teaching as an NYC. I was like, NYC was paying me. Then I was taking tutors because I had to leave Lagos for my NYC. I took some students. I was getting money from them. I did business. I was also selling flash drive to the corporates, right? So the money was from there. So when it was time for me to get my laptop, I'd already gotten some amount of money, right? But it wasn't enough. So what came to balance up was I got another 3 days job as an NYC, like as a core member, like all this vaccine, oral polio, and every other thing. It was just for maybe 1 week. I got the job just to do that, and I was paid, and I had it topped up, and I got my laptop. Do you get? So how do you intend to, how do you intend to save money to buy the new PC that you want because of the skill that you want to learn? I got my laptop the following month. I started my training, right? So then the long-term goals can be, I want to get an admission into the university in the next 1 or 2 years. So what do you need to do? So I remember then while taking my phlebotomy course, I said, I'm not going outside Lagos. Like I sincerely told myself. And my reason for not wanting to go outside Lagos was because Lagos gave me the opportunity to to earn while I also learn. I am very sure other states would have that, but because I grew up in Lagos, so I'd always just wanted to stay in Lagos, right? So you want to get admission into the university in the next 1 or 2 years. Which university do you want to go to? Have you sat down to really, like, for some of us that are still like young school leavers, right? While for some of us that want to go for probably masters, or you want to get a job, and you're like, okay, what exactly, if you're going for masters, which school do you want to go to? What exactly do you want to study? Why do you want to study what you want to study? right? For some of us that are looking for a job, we're like, oh, what exactly do you want to do? It's very important. Like, you need to ask yourself those questions. Then you need to now start taking steps towards it. For instance, I said after NYSC, I was still in that, I had a good relationship with the employer before I left for NYSC. So I wasn't even sure if I wanted to return back to that company or get something else. But I just know that I know this is the next step. This is what I wanted to. I wanted to, continue in my writing career. I just know that that was what I wanted to. I didn't want to go back to maybe phlebotomy or anything. Even when my friends offered me the job, I said no. I want to go into the digital marketing space. And before NYSC, before the end of NYSC, I had already taken up Google digital marketing skills for African also. I'd already taken up a course in that line. So long-term goal can be, I want to start a business or a side hustle and grow it into a steady source of income in the next 3 years. In the next 3 years, you're being specific about it. Oh, I want to ensure we start this thing. Then the next 3 years, this is it. Why setting goal is important. It's also important to note that, you should not rush the process. Like, that's why we take it one step at a time, a day. That large, big goals, you break it into chunks, right? Then another long-term goal can be, you want to build a personal brand. You want to build a personal brand on social media, showcasing your skills and your talents in the next 5 years. So that, like, you putting time bound is very, like, you putting time into everything is very important, so that nobody will put you under any sort of form of pressure. And then you are aware every year you are tracking your progress. Okay, so now that we know what goals are, let's get into setting some SMART goals, right? So we all hear the SMART goals, and to be honest, it feels like a cliche now. Everybody, SMART goals are, your goal has to be smart. But what exactly is the SMART goals that we're trying to set? We'll talk about, it has to be specific, measurable, it has to be achievable, relevant, then it has to be time bound. So let's go into the specific aspect of it. Now, what exactly do you want to achieve? What exactly do you want to achieve? You need to define your goals clearly. For instance, I want to learn graphic design so that I can start freelancing and earn extra income. Learn graphic design so that you can start freelancing. Then you earn an extra income. Then we'll move to the next one. It has to be measurable. It has to be measurable. So you need to be able to track progress. Like, it's something that you can actually see and you can track it. Okay, there's something I do every quarter. You want to kill for, like, in the first quarter of the month, I'm like, okay, and what were you able to do? Were you able to do this? Why didn't you do it? I just like write out the things that I was able to do, and I give myself thumbs up for the things that I do. Right? Sometimes I'll just be shouting, "Oh, I'm not doing anything. All the things I've listed out, I can't just achieve it. I've not been able to achieve it." But really, by the time I begin to say, "Oh, I was able to read 3 chapters or this," I'm like, "Oh, you're moving already. It's progress." So you need to set criteria to help you track your progress, so that you don't even disdain the effort that you're putting into it. So for instance, you put, I will complete a beginner graphic design course within 2 months and create 5 sample designs. Sometimes you will not even know that you have created the 5 sample designs. And you're like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything." You don't go back, "Oh, this is 1, 2. Oh my God, I've created 5. So you need to set criteria to track your progress. And please, when you're setting your goals, set something that is realistic. Sometimes we don't let ourselves breathe because we see the progress of other people. Then we begin to say, "Look at where I am. I'm not there yet. And this person is already there. This person has built house. This person has bought car. This person has gained admission." Because I remember how long it took for some of us to get admission into university, because I had to go for OND, and you're like, this person has gained admission to university. See where I am. I mean, our journeys in life are actually like different. So you need to ensure that you set a goal that is realistic right now that you are, with the time and resources that you have. Can that goal be achievable? You not say, I want to start this time looking for 20 million. Because I did not see 20 million, I will not start business. How? People that don't have 20 million, they started anyhow. and they were able to get this thing to kick off. So is it something you can achieve with your resources and time? We need to be realistic with ourselves. We need to ensure that our goal is realistic. For instance, I gave here that I will dedicate 2 hours daily to learning graphic design and practice using free online tools. Some people will say, I don't have the money to learn. That's why I want trainings. They are giving us, they are putting it for 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira. The free ones, have you even tried it? YouTube, have you gone on YouTube and checked for free resources? Some of the trainings I've gotten are free, except for the ones I paid for that are like 1 or 2. But majority of the trainings are free. So it's all about determination, being dedicated to these things like that. So if you're not determined, if you're not dedicated to actually learning something, I mean, even if you get the paid ones, you will not finish it. That's just the reality of it. So I will dedicate 2 hours of my time every day. Is that 2 hours realistic for you? Like when I was going to the library, okay, 8 to 9:30. That's like 1 hour, 30 minutes to read something. Sometimes it can be like nothing is entering my head, but really at the end of the day, when I'm writing my exam, like, oh, so this thing entered my brain. Do you get? So another thing that I want us to look at is it needs to be relevant. Make sure the goal aligns with your broader objectives. It aligns with your purpose. It aligns to the things that you want to do. Why is this goal important? You need to ask yourself. Sometimes I do some things and they are really crazy. I remember, I just wanted to travel last year and I was planning a Ghana trip and I said, oh, who will join me in planning this Ghana trip? And it was just because I just really wanted to get my passport stamped last year. And I just started let's go to Ghana, let's go to Ghana. And we just started that thing. And one of my friends joined and we started planning. Every point in time I asked her, why are you doing all of this? Why exactly are you doing this? Must you do it? So why is this goal? Why is it important to you? Why was I doing it? I wanted to get my passport stamped. I wanted to achieve that goal. It was a goal to me and it was important for me. And I wanted to experience another country, like, their culture and every other thing. It's important to me. And I figured out I got people that, the goal was also important to them. And we were able to do that. So why is it important to you? Why is this goal important? Also, for instance, learning graphic design will help me start earning money online. And it will improve my career opportunity, right? So this is why it is important. Then it has to be time bound. Now you need to set a timeline. You need to set a deadline. Why are you setting it? It helps you keep track of your progress. It helps you maintain focus. You're like, oh, this is. I have a calendar. Like I work with my calendar. I have like what would I call it? The digital calendar. But I also have this ad, this hard copy, or what do we call it, this type of calendar. I usually have it on my deck every time. And there are things I'm setting. I'm like, oh, from this time, I'll be here, I'll be doing this, and I have to do this. So sometimes I'm here, I'm checking, oh, I mean, you say you're going to do this. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, you just need to set a deadline, a timeline to help you maintain focus, right? So if you're taking the graphic design course, you're like, I will complete an online graphic design course and create my first paid design within 3 months. I tell you that setting goal. For some people, they'll say it doesn't work, but I have tried it over the year and it works. Like I used to tell someone that it works like magic because you're just putting steps towards that thing. So you're putting steps towards that thing. And they will always say something that whatever you plan, when you're working towards it, the universe will bring it. I was there planning a Ghana trip, then South Africa trip without stress came. Do you get? He says there's a way that the universe will come around and bring that thing, to you. To you, just like the trainings that are taking, or because I was making constant effort towards getting somewhere. So if you're thinking, who will be my first customer? You will be surprised. Put yourself out there. Do the things that you have to do. Learn a skill. Put it out there. Don't be shy to talk about what you know. Don't be shy to talk about who you are. Put yourself out there. And you'll be shocked at the people that will say, please, come and design this thing for us. And you're like, okay, this is how much do you charge? How much do I charge? This is the amount I charge. So please, setting goal is important, and the truth is it works. It works. So I think I'll just briefly say this. So now to now say the full SMART goal example. Within the next 3 months, I will complete a beginner graphic design course, create at least 5 sample design, and apply for 3 freelance gigs. So this is a goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's measurable, it's realistic, it's achievable, and it's time bound. And apply for 3 freelance gigs in 3 months. I'll dedicate 2 hours daily to learning and practicing, ensuring I develop a skill that can generate income and support my growth. So as you're dedicating 2 hours daily and you're designing, you're pushing yourself out there and say, oh, I just completed this track 1. I just completed this track 2. People are watching you, you just don't know it. So move on to activity. I have an activity for, and I just want us to write down your SMART goal. Even if it's just one goal, just write down something. So I'm going to give us about 5 seconds or 5 to 10 seconds to just, do that. So I'm going to set this to this place, to this example, so that we can use this example to write. So I want us to write down, and if you care to share, you can just, share it with us. You can just share it with us. I know that we are currently going to be having a graphic design class or something. So I want us to also take it like very important, like, because you never can tell how that skill that you're taking for free, how it's going to like really pivot your life. So I want us to use the next okay, let me give us 1 minute before we move on to write a SMART goal. Write a SMART goal. Remember, when we talk about SMART goals, we said they're specific, they're measurable, they're something that is achievable, realistic, and time bound. So you need to do that. So we have just a few more seconds to go before I continue. So if you care to share, you can just share. You can just share on the chat. You can just share on the chat. Then I'll just look at it. We have a few more seconds to go. Few more seconds to go. If you care to share, you can share it on the chat box. I'll pick it up from there. Okay. So let me move on. While we are, if we cannot write something down now, you can also try to write it as once we finish this session, right? So I want to also talk about common roadblocks to achieving your goals. Procrastination, number 1. Procrastination. I don't want to do this today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too busy. I cannot do it. Like, I've done that several times, and up till as I am, I'm still dealing with procrastination. Right? It's still something that I still struggle so much with, because I just want to do the things I want to do. Don't stress me. Last we'll go achieve this goal. Don't stress me. But sometimes it helps to do it immediately, because the next minute you're saying I'm going to do it next time, you're going to be occupied. I bet you. You're really going to be occupied. Procrastination, the fear of failure are common roadblocks. I failed the last time. If I do it again, I failed. So I remember one of my courses in school that I took physics, and I had a carryover. The following year, I said, I'm going to do it again. I had the motivation, the zeal, and every other thing. I'm going to try it again. So I tried again, and I carried that course over the second time. And at this point, I was not motivated. Everything within me died, and I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to go through this embarrassment. And again, they're testing your results. Everybody's seeing it. That you carry over just one particular course. Then one of my friend was the one that she knows everything. So she was the one that she encouraged me. She said, I know, why not take it again? I mean, just try this time around. You never can help. Then I just said, okay. I said I wasn't going to do it because I was actually scared that, well, I'm going to fail again. I failed 2 times. What's the assurance I'm not going to fail again? So I took it. Then I started saying to myself, and this time around, you're going to pass this. This time, so I switched my fear. I switched it up into faith, courage. I switched it up into saying, say, I'm going to look at your physics in the eye, and we're going to do this thing. I didn't even go for any tutorial that year. I remember I carried that test, go to the library, and I started reading it on my own. And I was able to pass it. So sometimes fear of failure I feel this time I don't want to do this again. It's so much. As I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, right? I don't want to do this. But you need to pick yourself up, right? So if you remember the person that created Paul, their story of how they failed multiple times, and those people that invented things that people that invent a lot, they're innovators. They've failed multiple times, and now they're here. They've invented things that we are using, and we are happy. We are celebrating them, but we don't know how many times they've gone through things, situation. So lack of motivation can be common roadblock. So what do? You stay accountable, right? Speak to people. You're struggling. You cannot do this. Speak to somebody. There was a time, as little as I really wanted to learn how to eat healthy, and I really wanted to learn how to eat, right? Because sometimes when I'm glued up with work, I just forget about food, right? So I noticed one of my colleagues at work. He goes to eat breakfast every month, like it does not miss his food. You know what? I paired up with him. I said, "Okay, what's up? If you're going to eat, call me. Ensure you call me." And that improved my eating habit. And I started, taking breakfast. I started eating well. Stay accountable. Do you need to, if you're struggling with something, do you need to speak to somebody? Do you need to speak with mentors, your friends? Do you need a constant reminder to do that thing? It will help you, because the truth is we cannot do life alone. Let's be realistic. We cannot. Last year, the energy I had last year, I got into this year. I didn't even have the strength to do the things I want to do. Then when I realized that, I know it's going to be a lot of mess. You view that the way you were, and now you're relaxing. It's going to be a lot of mess. I got myself up and ran to go and look for a community where I can get help. And when they say they are doing this, they are that, I'm joining, because I know I need the help. I know I need the help. So the truth is we can't do life alone. So we need the help. We need people. We need community. So, we need community. We need mentors. We need people to help us, to keep us accountable to the things that we say that we want to do, right? It's to help us well. So you also need to manage your time well. If you know that you spend 3 hours on the call, there used to be that year when I and my friends, like, then I used to work from home. Then I and my friends, we had a lot of time. We can use 5 hours on the call, talking, gisting. But the truth is that right now, that time, there's no time, because we are just busy. There are things that we have to do. So we need to learn how to manage our time well. The time that you use to chit chat, like, taking so long. If you have goals in your front, things that you need to tick off, I swear, if somebody is using 1 hour to discuss it, you'll be like, you're wasting my time. You're not proud. It's just the fact, because you have things to do. So we need to learn how to manage your time, or also celebrate your small wins. It's very important. You need to celebrate that small wins. Celebrate the fact that you read one page. You don't know how to read, but you read one page of that book today. Buy ice cream for yourself. Celebrate it. It will help you. So these key factors for success actually helped me over the years. There used to be a time I have them hung on my wall, and I'll just say desire, direction, determination, dedication, and discipline. Means that I need to desire the things that I want to do. I need to desire that thing. If you don't desire it, there is no way. If you're not interested in it, you cannot set any goal. That's lack of motivation. Then direction. Is this thing, is it in purpose with, is it in line with what you want? Are you going the same way? Is it in line with what you want? Then you need to be determined, dedicated. Then discipline is very important. That is like one of the hardest things, but it's actually very important to helping you achieve your goals. Then the last thing, you need to avoid distraction, of course. Distraction will come multiple ways. Social media, don't be scrolling through Instagram. It's there. So you need to avoid distraction at all costs. It doesn't mean that like you shouldn't have time to scroll through social media, but then okay, let's say you are spending 30 to 1 hour on social media, then you're back to what you're doing. Sometimes I just want to take a social media break while I'm working and just scroll through. Then I'm like, okay, that's all. Then we'll go back. Sometimes I'm like, okay, let's watch some movie. Okay, that's all. I'm back. So another thing that has helped me in terms of my goals, in terms of sometimes I list out the habits, the things I noticed about myself that I want to stop. We talked about procrastination. There was a time I was really struggling with managing my time. It was a lot. Like, I think 2 years, 2023, I was struggling with managing my time. I was taking a training, and before you know it, time has gone. Before you know it, I had to speak to a mentor. So sometimes if you don't even know what the problem is, you don't know where to tackle it from. So you need to look within yourself. Oh, what are the habits I need to stop? Then you begin to write it down. There was a time I don't know how to speak up for myself. And I just said, no, I know this is not good. No, this is not good. We need to work on it. Then another thing you need to take note of, the values that you want to, live by. I do that for myself every year. It's something I write out. I said, okay, I want to. I like sometimes I'll just be like, I know you are not compassionate. Let's be compassionate. No, sometimes like it just occurs like in my mind, I just kind of feel it. Maybe I behaved somehow or I acted in a way. I'm just like, I know, learn to be compassionate. And I was just like, okay, this is what I feel I need to work on. So I began to write, okay, compassion, integrity, these are the values I want to live by. These are the values. These are the things I want to work on. These are the things, I this just makes up my personality and it makes up for where I'm going. So values are important to your personal growth, relationships, and professional success as they define what you stand for and how you navigate the world around you. So I think I'll move on to what are the next steps that we need to do? What are your top 5 goals that you want to achieve this year? So you just there's no need to have plenty goals. Please, having plenty goals doesn't mean that you achieve everything. There are sometimes you just need to have just one goal. Just one goal. So you don't career, I want to do this. I'll just one goal and focus and pursue it. So just had one goal. The career, finance wise, spirituality, health, personal development. There are different type of goals. There are different types. Just figure out whichever one you want to work on, then add just one. I want to learn it within a space. Let it be time bound. It's very important. Then keep track of your progress. Then over to the last one. Um, Set your goal. Bring out this goal. This is a template. Why does this goal matter? What are the steps you need to take to achieve it? If you need to take that certification exam, take it. If you need to learn that skill, learn it. Just note down the steps and begin to work towards it. You feel, oh, this thing, I don't know how to achieve it. Start from somewhere. Go and research online on how to achieve it. Google will bring out a lot of information. Pick one and say, okay, today I'll do this. Tomorrow I'll do that. Before you know it, you start taking steps towards it. Before you know it, they would say that the universe will bring things that will align to you and you start, oh, like, have you ever gone on Instagram and you search for, maybe you go on Google and you search for hair care products on Google, or maybe you just thought about it. Then on Instagram, the algorithm will just bring all those things, and you're like, is this thing in my mind or what? Why doesn't do you get? So that's how it works, right? That's how it works. The steps to achieve it and the deadline for achieving. So when you believe you can, you already halfway there. This is a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Thank you very much. That's all for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Anu, if I'm permitted to call you, so I don't murder your name. Thank you so much for your teaching. I really learned a lot, and I hope the participants learned. You really took us on a long journey of how goals should be achieved. Long-term goal, short-term goal. How you said goal is something we should achieve. And then there's one thing that you kept saying, procrastination. We should avoid procrastination. And thank you for that awesome story you shared. You kept on moving, transcending from one step to another, from a smaller stage to a higher stage. You kept on changing without any distraction. You knew what you wanted and you were going for your goal. It shows you're focused and you are determined. Thank you so much. So I can't see any question on in the chat box, but I have some questions here for you that young persons will love to know. So the first question is, how do young persons how would they balance their goal setting with self-care and maintaining a healthy work life balance? I don't know if you get that question.
Okay, so you said, how do a young person balance their what?
Like how would young persons balance their goal setting with self-care and maintaining a healthy work life balance?
Okay, I think
I have like 2 to 3 questions. I don't know if I should ask all at once or we go one by one. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. So you said, how will a young person balance their goal setting with self-care and healthy life balance, right?
Yes. How would they
Okay, so I
balance
think
their goal setting? Yeah.
okay, I think I get that. So I'm just going to take it one after the other, right? So now I want us to know that self-care, eh, should also be a goal. It should be a goal. So goal should not just be about um I want to be I want to be a banker, I want to be an accountant. I talked about long and short term goals. And I think when I was sharing the template, I categorized. I said we have set your career goals, set your personal development goals. But so you can also set um your self-care goal. Now, one thing I want you to know is, okay, how to balance it. You need to let me use, for instance, or talk about um let me use for in situations for me. So when we talk about self-care, it's just basically taking care of yourself and you making yourself a priority. So you just prioritize. For instance, let me say that, okay, you work 9 to 5. I work 9 to 5 actually. So you work 9 to 5. You don't have time for yourself, and then you need to make your hair. But the Saturday that you have set, you still do not have it on Sunday, right? So it's just something that you just say, okay, maybe once in 2 weeks. Because of course, maybe not every Saturday you go to work, or let's just say you go to work every Saturday. Then when you come back from work, once in 2 weeks, I need to go and make my hair. By so time, you will call your hair person, or you schedule an appointment, right? Then when you know that, okay, I work 9 to 5 and I don't have time to do some things, you take a break, request for a break or a leave from work that would give you that time to also do the things that you want to do. So and another thing to note is sleep. There was a time I'm still struggling, right, with sleeping early. I struggle with it a lot. So balancing it means you have to speak to somebody that knows how to do that thing better than you and be in sync with them. You come back from work, let's say by 8 p.m. Prepare breakfast between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. so that by between that 9 or 10, you're already prepared to go and sleep, right? Just like I mentioned about I think someone said something that your there are some things that will be among your non-negotiable. I attended a training earlier this year. She's a CEO, and she says, like, see, you know how busy they are. And she said something. She said, every quarter I set an appointment. I have appointment for massage. I have appointment for on a quarter, like every 3 months. So there's a plan for going for massage, and she's put it in a reminder. She just, like, we were even in the meeting when our alarm rang, and she said, look at it, call grandma. Every Monday I call my grandma, I speak to my husband's mother. Every this thing, so there's a reminder. Their processes, it's not really easy to really balance those things, but looking for a process that works for you will help you balance it. And that's why there was a time I was talking about outsourcing. You know you can do these things, but you cannot do everything. So the time that you have on your hand that you used to do that thing, for instance, washing clothes can take you like 1 or 2 hours to wash clothes. You can give it to somebody that will help you wash the clothes, so that 1 or 2 hours that you have, you can use it to do something else that makes you productive. I can remember a time I was taking a training. I couldn't do all of those things myself, and my mom had to go and get somebody that was really doing it. I was working, I was getting the money. So I just had to pay the person to do it so that I can have free time to take my training, right? So it's just the same as your self-care and living a healthy balance. If you know that you can afford the things that you can afford, like little things that won't cost you so much. I mean, you can let those things go while you focus on the things that are of importance, or you set a process that makes it work. Oh, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I want to eat fresh food. Look for somebody that is good in that thing. Attach yourself to that person and be accountable. That's how I have been able to, like, do it over time. I just look for people that can do it, and just meet up with them, liaise with them, and we're good to go. So that's mine.
Thank you so much. You've even answered the second question I was about asking you. How do you prioritize your goals when you have multiple competing demands on your time and energy? Thank you so much, Ma. So I'm going to hand over the mic to our convener. But before then, can I ask you, can you still take one more question?
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, how do you handle setbacks or failure when working towards your goal?
Oh, okay. So how do I handle setback or failure while working towards my goal?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. I think the most important thing, I think how I've been able to do that is just basically, aside from personal motivation, right? It's just basically um speaking to people. It's just basically speaking to people, because the truth is that sometimes it can be a whole lot. It can be a whole lot on you while you're trying to achieve something and it's not working. At that time, giving up would be like, would just be the best thing to do. But then you already know what the problem is. You already know where the challenge is. So the best bet is to just speak to someone, or speak to someone that can literally, like, help you move from point A to point B. So another thing that I do some of the time, another thing I do some of the time is just to re-strategize. Sometimes that thing that I'm running towards. I can remember a time I paid for a course, and I didn't finish it, and it was that's not me. That's not the way I behave. It was really heartbroken for me. So I just had to re-strategize. I took a different approach to still help me get that thing that I want to get. So then another thing you need to do is to just maintain your energy. It's a lot, but you need a lot of internal motivation to do things outside. So one experience. So after I finished that training, that I didn't finish the training. I paid for that training. I didn't finish it. And my time, I didn't even have the strength because I was too tired. I was burnt out. It was a lot on me. I said I'm not the type of person to start something and not finish it, that kind of thing. And the following year, in fact, I was just taking a leadership training, and then one of my friends reached out to me and said, "Anu, come and take another course." I was like, "I'm not interested." This is the person that I told all my I already explained what I'm going through. She said, "Come and take." I said, "I'm not interested." She said, "Anu, I am going to ensure that I am going to follow up on you. And that's why you need people. You need to set up people in your life. I'm going to follow up on you and ensure that you do this thing." So in my mind, I had made up my mind, and I told her, and I said, if this person calls me, I will tell her that she should not disturb me. I'm not. But I think what got me back on track was just the question I asked myself. I said, and what's the best thing that can happen if you do this? And what's the worst thing that can happen? I I don't like to not try something. I don't like to not try. So I said, if I apply and I get the opportunity, this is what will happen. If I don't, I will have regret for not doing it. So that was how I was able to pick myself up. I said, then let's do it. And I was able to do it, meet up with deadlines. So seek support and mentorship, keep your energy. It can be a lot. Then I think we just need to just have that resilient mindset that anything can happen at any point in time. But then you need to, like say, rest, reset, re-strategize, and keep running, keep running. So that would be it.
Thank you so much, Ma. You really did justice to that. I think there's someone asking a question in the chat box. If you don't mind, can I read it out to you?
Okay, it's fine.
All right. He said he took a course to secure some job, social media marketing, social media management, project management. And when applying, they are asking for job or working experience, and most fresh graduates are non-existent. They don't have experience. So he said, how will he go about that in achieving his goals? That's the question.
Okay. Yeah, when I saw that question, I was just laughing. I'm still going to share because I actually share from stories, personal stories. So I just finished my undergraduate, right? I studied zoology. I majored in environmental toxicology and conservation. I only learned about monkeys and animals and all those kind of things and how to keep our environment safe. And this is me applying for a digital marketing role. So what did I do in my CV? What did I do? While in school, I sold I was Jumia Salesforce agent or something, right? I was selling something on Jumia. So I put it there. Jumia Salesforce agent. I sold this. I sold and it increased sales. I think another thing. So all of the petty things that I do, I mean, I packed it. See, we need to learn how to package ourselves. We need to learn how to package our skills. So if they say you don't have experience, you say you have experience. So even while I was pivoting into my software testing role, I said where I'm coming from, I have experience. I have worked on this, and so you use the things that you have to sell yourself. If not, you keep saying, "No, you may not have experience in a corporate world, but we need to learn how to sell ourselves." If that thing that you are selling on social media, that you are using social media to increase your sales, is social media this thing branding or brand strategies or something like that. Package it up, put it and say, "Oh, this is what I've done. This is what I've done." It might just be on your social media page that you're putting out content, and from there your followers have increased. You should be able to put it up together and say, "Oh, in so time, this is it, this is what I analyzed it, and this is what I've done." If you keep saying, "Oh, I don't have experience," or they are looking for fresh graduates, there's something you have done something while like within your 4 years of school. Sometimes it can be that you have taken up leadership roles. You've taken up a role as a class governor, or you've taken up an SUG role or something. Put everything in your CV. See, sometimes the truth is that while we also had certifications to it, sometimes organizations, they are looking for people with soft skills. And yes, we need the tech or the hard skills as well. But you've done one thing or the other within your 4 years of school that you can repackage and use it to suit into what you want. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Ma. I hopefully that helps. Hello, I hope she has answered your question. Okay, he just left a thumbs up in the chat box. Thank you so much, Ma. We really value your time. And thank you for doing justice to this awesome topic. I enjoy the fact that you always share examples and relate the stories back to you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to hand over the mic
Thank you.
to our convener. You have the floor, Ma. Okay. Thank you everyone for participating. I guess our network is kind of bad. That's why she's not here. Mrs. Anu, thank you so much for joining us. We are really honored to have you. I'm very privileged. Thank you so much. And if there's any more question, it's going to be forwarded to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining. Haladu Muhammad, John, Olua, Jedalo. Sorry if I'm not calling it well. Thank you so much, Usman, for joining. So tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another session. Please do not miss out. Tomorrow is the last day for this teaching. Do not miss out on any conversation. And please do well to share the flyer to your friends, to young persons leaving school, so they can benefit from this rich teaching. Thank you so much for joining and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.